Hello and welcome. Hello, Miss Holden. How are you?
Hello, Miss. Oh, did you say Miss V Walker? Yeah, I guess that. That sounds good. Hey.
Mrs.
Hello, Mrs.
Mrs. How are things in Australia?
I don't want to talk about the weather, but it's freaking hot, and that's that.
Yeah, well, we're slightly oppositely dressed, but we are not here to talk about the weather. We are here to talk about the Wave 1 2024 release notes, customer insights journeys.
Journey.
Our first one on journeys, right? I think.
Yeah, so we skipped one due to various life circumstances,
Yes,
and we thought
did.
we'd bring it back. I think for this one, we're going to focus on journeys. I think I'm not ready to talk about data yet. I don't think I'm there yet. And I don't think the product's quite there yet, to be honest. But there's one thing I want to call out, which is there's actually something in the release notes for customer insights data about using marketing interactions to do stuff in customer insights data.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're starting to see the start of a lovely, happy couple marriage delight. So maybe next wave we'll be ready.
Maybe we can do a two-parter.
Yeah, we can put on data hat, journey hat.
Yes, exactly.
I need to go buy a data hat. That's what I'll do for next time.
You do that.
That's why we're not doing it, because my data hat didn't arrive.
Can't wait to see the journey one. So so we'll put the release notes, links to both sections for journey and data. But yeah, we will be covering the journeys side of it. And there is still like a ton of stuff that we've got to get through. So, all right, let's get into the release notes. Okay, so this is us. This is Amey and I. Hi.
Hey.
So, like I said, Wave 1 2024 features only the journey side of things. So I hope that there's no one watching this that is like, what are they talking about customer insights? D365 Marketing, even though we might slip up and refer to it as that, it's customer insights journey. So we are going to go through everything in there. So the first thing, just so that this might be the first sort of release wave for some people, right, Amy? Because there are a lot of people that are new to it, but essentially what happens is Microsoft does Wave 1 and Wave 2, and then they sort of have a time frame of when things will be released. Wave 1 is from April 2024 to September 2024, but they drop new things on a monthly basis, which is great for us, right?
Yeah, lots of always new things. Sometimes things disappear, sometimes dates change. So this is just as it is now. But it gives you some kind of bands to kind of work with them.
Yeah, and sometimes things appear, which is also what we've seen, which I love that one. I'm like, yes, that was another release note. So in terms of what Microsoft have put, they always sort of have their value proposition. What is it that they're focusing on? So they've got three key areas. Generative, it's a hard word. Generative AI and Copilot. Engaging customers in moments that matter, and unifying sales and marketing. Those are sort of the things that they are focusing on. We all know Copilot, and we have various opinions of it. So we'll move on from that. All right, the first one. Would you like to go first?
Oh, I would love to. Okay, the first one. Ooh, I'm confused about this one, so I'm hoping you can tell me more.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's exciting, but I'm a bit confused.
Okay.
So, boosting customer confidence with branded links for email content. So this is things like when you're sharing landing pages. Currently, they come up with that assets, DAS, MKT. Here it's OCE, all sorts of bump. Okay. It's for landing pages, for, I think, forms if you host them on pages, and possibly even asset library. Perhaps it works for that as well, I hope. So this is kind of saying that you can actually customize the links that are going out.
Yeah. So I have had this in various other tools that I've used. Click Dimensions has this as well. Shout out to Click Dimensions.
Like it is.
So this is if you think about, you're adding in buttons, you're adding in images, you're adding in hyperlinks within an email. Let's take that for example. And like you said, anything that you link to, it then ends up with this assets dot blah blah blah, or like a very long string. So what can happen a lot of times is from a human eye, if you hover your mouse over those links, you can then see that link appear, and people might be like, well, I don't know what that link is. I don't really have that trust aspect. I don't know. This is something that I'm not 100% sure on, but I think also if you think about like a link scanner, something that when the emails come into somebody's server and those emails are getting scanned, also that potential aspect to it as well. So they call them
that
vanity.
Comes up later too.
Yeah, so there's also vanity domain, they're known as vanity links or vanity domains. So it would be, I could come up with link.meganvwalker.com so that then when someone hovers their mouse, they're seeing something that's a little bit more familiar to them rather than the blah, 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 blah that we currently have.
So you'd use a subdomain to your domain, because I was thinking, what if I spin up like ameyholden.com and then that web page already exists, and then my asset becomes the web page? Like, but no, it makes sense that you'd have a subdomain.
Yeah, it would be a prefix that you would be using for it. So, like in the shout out to D365 Marketing Weekly newsletter, the tool that I use, that allows me to have like to pass through. Actually, I pass through a different tool that I use that allows me to set a pretty link before that. So it's just like,
got it.
Kind of like I said, building customer confidence is somebody being like, oh, I recognize ameyholden.com. I hover my mouse, I recognize that that's a link that she shared.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense, because I was getting confused without the subdomain, you're going to break stuff, but all good.
No, it's a big thing. I've been asked by quite a few customers for it, and happily I was told that it was coming, and I'm very, very glad to see that it is now coming to fruition. So that is supposed to be public preview. So at the bottom of each slide, you're going to notice that we've got who it's enabled for, and then we've got the time frame. PP, public preview, GA, generally available. PP.
PP.
So, all right, moving on. This is where I love Microsoft, I love you people, but this is where this stuff kind of annoys me, that we've got this in the release notes for Wave 1 2024. I've just written an article about it, 2 different articles about this specifically. It's there. So to say April, that irks me a little bit. So this is capture responses from external third-party forms.
Yeah.
So this is the form capture that we've had. Anyone that has gone straight to real time, you won't know this, but outbound marketing had form capture probably from the start, I think.
Yeah.
And so real-time forms, that's been a long time to sort of catch up in some areas. So there's a lot in this from this release that I feel is like catch up, which is great. But so this one is the ability to, let's say, for example, I use a product called MailerLite, and on there I can create forms. So I could embed those into my website, but I still want, when someone submits that form, for it to create a lead. And I'll see this a lot. I don't know if you see this, but a lot of customers don't have as much control over their website as one would hope. They are farming it out to a third party, and I've heard so many times, oh, it'll be such a pain to get them to replace the forms. It'll take ages. I can't do it. It'll break the site. So I think this is great. But when it says April 2024, it is there. It's in preview. So I don't know whether they've got April from, because it's available.
Super preview, like preview plus, like
plus preview. But yeah, so it's there, and like I said, there's a couple of blogs that I've written about it, so how about it? Go for it.
Good to see. It's not the best. There's pros and cons of each type of form, so do your research before you run away with this one. But yeah, good to see it. Welcome to the party.
Exactly. We've been waiting for you. All right, what we got next, Ames?
Ooh. Okay, this is again another catch up. Custom I think they used to be called unmapped fields. So you've got a form submission, you want to capture some data, it's got to be somehow structured, but you don't want to. I love the word that they put capture data without polluting your data. Basically it means you don't need to create a field to shove some data in. It's nice because it's temporary stuff. It works really nice in the context of like meal preferences when you're making an event registration. There's some stuff that's relevant to that specific moment. You don't care about it next week, whatever. I've always found it's hard to get to that information. So it comes with a caveat that when you don't map things, they're hard to find. But it's good to see that we're playing catch up because I know you can do this, but you've got to go do the HTML and copy and paste, and it's a bit scary wary. Whereas now we can capture data on forms without a field existing on the lead or contact. So nice to see you. Welcome to the party.
Exactly. And I know I shared it in the newsletter on Tuesday this week, where Peter Krause, I think.
Yes.
I hope I said that right. Sorry.
Is it Peter or Petter? One of the two.
No, this is a Peter. So he had done an article about being able to do unmapped fields, but there was a lot of stuff with the HTML. But one of the things that I thought was brilliant that I've never even thought about doing was then getting into the form submissions to use those in part of your journey to then determine how you're branching off. So if you aren't comfortable with HTML and doing stuff, then you might not want to do the full approach that he shared. However, definitely like the fact that you can get into those fields that have been submitted, I thought was like, why have I never thought of that? So
yeah, the branching thing he did is really cool. So this plus that, magic.
Yeah. All right. So, and sorry, that was July that was coming. So if you are desperate for that, then you will have to
learn
go to HTML. Yeah. So otherwise, wait till July. All right. So this one, I am hoping that you can get me excited about this and say, yes, this is great. Build and test journeys before deploying to production. So they're saying it's basically the ability to test customer journeys in sort of pre-production or sandbox, whatever you want to call them, in different environments, and then move them to production in a published state. And what am I missing? Because I can do stuff in sandbox environments and move it. Is it only the thing about you would need to have it turned off and then turn it back? Like, what's tell me.
So there's a few things. So it looks like they're saying you can put it into solutions. So rather than having to do the data transport thing, which is how I currently move journeys and things along, you can put the things in a solution.
The actual journey itself.
Yeah, like the actual thing. Okay. So you're deploying journey segments, like the things that a user would create normally as data. So you can move that stuff using the data transporter. It's fiddly. You've got to have XRM toolbox.
Yeah.
Some things move, some things don't, and it's not business marketing user friendly. So I think that's really cool. And currently you can only move them in draft state. So if I move a journey from A to B, it's got to be in draft and it will land in draft. So you end up having to go and poke it and turn things on.
Turn everything
on.
So
I guess the idea is kind of turning the marketing stuff into ALM, which is really cool. And I see where it's going, but I have some questions, reservations that I'm not expecting anyone to answer yet. But if we're talking about solutions and deploying, does that then mean that I can't edit a journey in production? I then have to, every time I want to make a change to a journey, I've got to go through the solution lifecycle, which I know any user or marketer is going to absolutely lose their mind.
I would lose my mind. I'd be frustrated that I'm like, oh Jesus, I've got to go through the
and now you're stuck in the ALM cycle, and you're stuck with dependencies and releases and sprints, and it's great for people that work in tech, but I don't think that's the right place to make people do stuff. I don't know.
So I've got some test it.
I've got some reservations. But I like the idea of it. I don't feel like solutions is the right place for it, but that's
okay. Yeah. We'll have to see. Yeah, we'll leave that one.
Watch this space.
Watch this space. So that is a June 2024 for GA.
And if you don't like solutions, data transport is amazing for moving stuff around.
Nice. Good tip. All right. You'll go.
Wait, I go. Oh gosh. I'm so excited. I've been waiting like at least a year for this. At least a year. So this is our beloved friend consent, which I did a blog about a while ago about synchronizing the out of the box, do not allow bulk email stuff to the consent records. And that was when it was in contact point consent 2. They've now moved it to 4. So if anyone wants to go read that blog, don't, because it all needs changing. So please ignore it. I was rebuilding some stuff today. So the consent model in Dynamics in Customer Insights Journeys is complicated. It's very different. And the ways we've had for users to experience and manage it have been lackluster. So this is hopefully going to pull things all together. So I should be able to look at a lead record, look at a contact record, and be able to manage the consent for the lead or the contact. If they share the same email, then everything gets updated in one place for the single email address. So this is a lot more about giving the visual controls of compliance, giving access to see it and to manage it, and hopefully some easier ways to help users understand what on earth's going on with I understand why we've got this new model of consent, but it's very hard to get your head around when it's so hidden. So excited to see some stuff coming in here. It was meant to be in February. It's moved to March and now to June. So don't pin your hopes on it.
But Amey, there is a screenshot. There is a screenshot.
I know.
It's typically, is there a screenshot? Yes. Okay. It's probably going to be there. I agree with you. Not only the complexity of understanding like how it now works, but just I was doing some tests on a journey like for a potential blog post, and I was going through and I kept seeing that somebody kept getting blocked on emails because there was no consent. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? And I kept going through the contact point consent center and filtering on emails and blah, blah, and I was like, they're up to date. But because you can now have multiple compliance profiles, I couldn't tell which one was which. And in the end, it ended up being an inactive record that was opted out, and it was still looking at that. So the ability to be able to have gone to that lead or gone to that contact and actually just said, show me, tell me, let me see. So yeah, I think this is going to be fantastic for everybody, regardless of how you're using it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. So yeah, June at the minute. So hopefully that will not move again.
Maybe this year. Maybe.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Okay, so here's another one that I find as okay, this is already there. So this is easily referenced copies of sent emails in the timeline. So there is currently a feature switch for this. So you could turn it on. I know that it's always like you shouldn't turn on preview stuff in a production environment. However, to me, I think there's a level of risk involved in things. This to me is not a risk. No. But that's my opinion. But if you think about right now on a timeline for a contact or a lead, you can see email sent, email opened, email clicked. You can see all of the different marketing related transactions. This is the ability to see the exact copy of it. So if you've sent an email that says, hi, contact first name, we hope everybody at contact account name is blah, blah, blah. So you've used all this personalization. Anyone currently is looking at that and being like, oh, okay, well, what is all this extra curly bracket nonsense going on?
Or panicking that you sent the email out saying that.
Exactly. Is that what you sent to Jane Doe? So this is the exact copy of the email. So you can see, hi, Jane, hope everyone's well at ABC Company. So again, this is there. It says public preview April 2024, but it's there already. So I don't know.
Preview plus January. But look at the last bullet point. I'm curious about this one. Adjusting storage of archived emails to meet your business needs. So this, I don't know what it's doing, but I'm assuming it's something like, oh, only show me the last 6 months of marketing activities in the timeline, perhaps. Maybe. Which will be nice because there is a lot of noise on the timeline when you light it up. So I'm wondering if this is going to start giving us a bit more control over what insights we see on the timeline as well.
Well, that would be nice if there was a setting where you could actually do that.
Something. There's something there that it doesn't like it's kind of added in. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, because some companies will send tons and tons of emails. Like someone might be getting like 2-3 emails a week, and I know some clients where it's like they'll send a newsletter once a month, so therefore I would want to actually see a bit more if I'm sending less. So hopefully it's a setting that they can control themselves. So yeah. It's a good one.
So maybe that's the bit that's coming in April. Everything else is just
maybe
okay. So this is another one that's a late to the party newcomer. Engage your customers with personalized messages based on website interactions. Basically, track and script, shove it in your website. It then gives you the details of where people are landing. So they're going from your real-time marketing email onto your website. You can then track them through as a person. So, Fred Blogs clicked on an email, then you track them through the website, blah, blah, blah. So then your marketing website analytics start to come to life. It was always there for outbound. This has been missing for quite a while, and hopefully this should make that 360-degree customer view come to life a little bit more.
Yeah, this one I'm really happy to see come back. I always thought it was a really good feature.
Yeah.
And so many people, I think the marketing websites it was just like sort of tucked away, and it was combined with records that were generated when you had an outbound form and you generated your hosting. It was really messy. So my hope for this is that it's put somewhere a bit more front and center and isn't sort of hidden away, and people know, like, you can go and see some really cool analytics from it, get your insights. So
it was always nice surfaced up on the contact record, on the insights tab. It's really good to have there, because then in the context of that contact you can see, like, oh, look where they've been.
Yeah, I sent them an email and look, they landed on this, and then they went here and here. So so that's June 2024, hopefully.
Straight to GA, baby.
Hope it works. Anyway, ensure messages go to the right contact email address. So this says May 2024. Now, it says contact email address, and that's because what you can do at the minute is you can go and you can set up on a lead, and you can say, right, well, what are the email fields that we might possibly want to use to send out to the lead? It's less likely on a lead that you're going to have email one, business email, personal email, blah, blah, blah. And I see this quite a bit in terms of, like, if you've got students maybe, and you've got parents, and you've got parents' email, students' email, you've got different email addresses that are on a record. So on a lead, you could do this. On a contact, you could get in and force it to allow you to set up extra, but it's not an out of the box supported feature. So this is basically getting it to that point where you could say, right, well, we've got the email email address one field, but you might have then other fields that you want to use. And then when you're on your email and you are in the journey, and you can then say, okay, which of the allowed fields are we actually going to send this to? So it's just, to me, it's kind of getting it up to speed with how it works for a lead at the minute. So
I think it's really cool, but it's also a little bit scary. It's a bit scary, like powerful.
You think?
Could easily, like accidentally choosing the wrong one. Your emails go to all the wrong things. I think it'll, like, for some people it might be a lot to get their head around, like, which one do I use? Which is the right one? Blah, blah, blah. It's cool. It's good. It's something that I've always looked at and been like, why is there a drop down? I can only choose one thing. So it makes sense. It's been coming.
I guess you've also got then another possible reason as to why an email could be blocked, or an email could, it wouldn't even bounce because it wouldn't go anywhere. So there'd have to be something that's like, okay, that email couldn't be sent because you don't have anything in that field. So
it does excite me, though, of the potential of marketing to custom entities. I don't actually know if this is not possible yet. I don't know if it ever will be. But I always see it, like, for example, on an opportunity, you have like two contacts. It's like a couple who are building a house, and you've got two of them, and you want to choose which one to send a thing to. And anyway, my brain.
That's a dream. Let's move on. That's a dream.
Yeah, scary dream.
that's a whole other episode. All right, go for it with this one.
I feel like this one comes up every year. And I actually went and dug up in the archives to see what this is all about. So this is get faster insights, scale, manage segment and measures. This is something else. It's something I want to say about our next thing. So ignore the thing I just said.
No, I know what you're referring to.
That comes up. Yes, I got excited. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about this. So this is basically, they're gonna, like with Flow, they monitor your flows, and if your flow's not run for like a month, they just turn it off. It's not quite a month, it's 3 months or something. They're basically doing the equivalent with segments. They're like, oh, you've not used this for a while, so we're just going to turn it off. So I get the thing, like if you're creating a lot of segments, it's kind of doing an automated archiving kind of thing going on. I think you can turn it off and manage your retention period, which seems to be nice. So there is some configuration, but it's definitely something you need to check because I think it's going to be turned on automatically and you need to control how much you want it to do. But basically they're just trying to manage load, trying to keep the performance up and to clean stuff up for you automatically with your segment.
I like this one specifically because I have clients that I know they've got, I mean, there's one that has about 30 odd people in marketing that are all going off and creating their own email segment journeys, and they're in the habit of every single time they're just going off and be like, okay, I create a segment. Why can you not create a segment that you can use multiple times? So in that scenario, you've got all of these old segments that are never going to be used again because that's not the pattern that those marketers have got into. So I could see if it was used, I think you'd have to be like, okay, this hasn't been used for 6 months, something like that. I think you'd have to be fairly like sort of broad across that. But if we can set our own timeframes, I think that's a fantastic feature.
Yeah.
Might breed laziness, but still it's better to have something cleaning it up rather than just having hundreds and hundreds of potentially thousands of segments. So yeah, I think it's good.
Also, I think I've seen this already. I've seen some customers where things have been like archived. I just kind of scroll on by. Yeah, I was a bit confused. I just left it. It's future Amy's problem. But yeah, I feel like they've already started doing some of that. But anyway, now we've got a feature we can control the time.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Okay, so this is yet another, we're just catching up with outbound. So this is improve engagement and compliance with double opt-in. Which some people watching this might be like, well, double opt-in. So in some countries, it's not even a thing. It's not something that you need to do. Some countries, legally, you're supposed to be doing it. Others, it's just kind of a good best practice type approach. So I do it for my blog and for the Marketing Weekly. So somebody can say, I want to subscribe, but then they're going to get an email that follows up that says, hey, thanks for subscribing, but you just need to click here just to be sure that we're both covered here and you did really want it. So this one is public preview April 2024 and GA July 2024. And this is going to be set up at the compliance level. We'll have to wait and see how sort of granular you can get after that in terms of then on each form. But it does seem to be like if you add on a compliance profile related tick box, so a purpose or a topic, as soon as you're doing that, then it says, oh, okay, well, this compliance profile is set up for double opt-in. So therefore, this form will incur a double opt-in follow-up response.
Yeah.
So that's the only part that I'm not necessarily fan of, that it's going to flow down to all of the forms, but is what it is.
I love this. I love the feature in theory. I've had have it cause a lot of confusion and concerns. So just play with care and make sure you know what everyone's doing and do some good training around this one because it's a bit new.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so next one.
Next slide, please. Okay. Oh, this is exciting. Okay. I'm excited about this one from experience from a customer who's
we'll have to
crippled
discuss
by
the excitement once you've shared yours.
Yes, and it contains the word bot, and I'm excited. How weird is that? So this is basically trying to manage your insight data that comes from your email. So your email gets sent, you get opens and clicks and reads and whatever else. And quite often these numbers are skewed hugely by bots. So sometimes things like people have heard like Mimecast, where companies install it and all emails that come in get screened first by something like Mimecast. It screens the email, it checks things aren't dodgy. If it's dodgy, the email gets quarantined. If it's okay, it gets to your inbox. But this can often trigger clicks and links and opens, and your hit rate and your the rate of when you send out a marketing email looks freaking amazing. Your manager thinks you're the best, but actually none of it's real. It's all just bots. And sometimes I've had customers that have seen their click rate so high, they're like, I wish this was true, but I know it's not.
Yeah.
So looks like they're rolling out some features that are going to help us manage that to kind of make the data a bit more realistic. Obviously, there's still no guarantee with any of it. Hopefully, it helps. And it's good to see.
So here's why I'm not as excited. Because for me, this should not be a feature. Like, as in, this should not be like oh, this is great, it's awesome that it's coming. This should be, it should have been a part of it anyway. So with Outbound, it was actually pretty good in terms of like the erroneous clicks and opens.
Ooh, nice word.
I know that we see with real time. With Outbound, that was actually pretty good. And so it seems like real time was launched and it wasn't necessarily, I don't know if it was using different functionality, different technology, or whatever, to where the same thing that you said, clients would be like, I would love it, but I just know that is not the case. Partly because there are some people that are really good and are checking Google Analytics and are seeing like, hang on a second, I've had this many clicks on this link, but it's never showing up in Google Analytics. So that's why I'm like, I'm not excited. I'm just like about flipping time sort of feeling about it, if that makes sense. So yeah.
That is my type of excitement. It's like, oh, finally, yay. Agreed.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, we'll give it the welcome. Welcome to the party. You're late. Sorry, it's one of those.
Nice of you to join us.
Yeah, can you explain this one?
Is it me or you? I just blanked out. What?
It's your go. I got excited, but I got excited about bots.
Okay, so this is actually one. I said about the solutions one and like moving stuff over. In my mind, I'd got confused and I was thinking of this one. This is the one where I'm like, instrument and test real-time events faster with a developer portal. So this is the ability to grant developers access to a developer portal without giving them access to the rest of Microsoft Dynamics 365. Then it says easily set up real web time tracking, validate real-time data. So when they're talking about events, my guess is that it's for people that are maybe building triggers and testing stuff out and maybe saying, okay, well, I want to look at a trigger and then try and test it. That's the thing, is I'm not really sure the value or sorry, let me scrap that. I'm not sure of the purpose, therefore I can't recognize the value.
So I think it's more, so for example, we got that web tracking script now. And that's going to push data into production. So you can't really check if stuff's working. Like, can I see when people are hitting the link unless you've got production access? So I think it's a way of saying, like, this is what's happening, and here's a copy of that data in a development site where you can then build triggers off it and test them without being in production.
I see, that's the thing, is I've got this question because there's also a screenshot on this specific item where I think it's like showing something in Visual Studio, blah. So that to me is saying, and they can't provide, Microsoft can't say, oh, we'll provide a developer portal that allows someone to see if tracking script on a website. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm just not sure. If you know, then put a comment below, because
bullet point 2 says that you create another web tracking script that then pushes data into the developer portal. So I imagine, like, rather than having one tracking script on the website, you have 2, and the second one pushes data into your developer portal.
Yeah, but what is this portal comprised of? What is the portal? What's the, like, to me, a portal is somewhere where I would go and log in and be able to, like, almost like a website. So, but I don't.
Yeah, definitely not that.
Yeah. All right. If anyone is smarter than Amey Holden and myself, please let us know how you interpret this. No, I don't. If I don't know, if I can't see the purpose, I find it really hard to understand the value. So I'm sure it's very valuable to somebody, but who's crying out for this? Who's been asking for this as a feature?
I think once I get it, I'll be excited by it because I do a lot with custom triggers and I feel like it's going to add me some value here. So I'm going to Put my excitement in a potential box, and I'll let you know when I PP in April 24.
Okay, it's you.
Maybe. Okay. Isn't this already here? A/B testing? Oh,
No.
I think no.
This is a catch up. This is the catch up from Outbound.
Oh, okay. So I've seen little bits of A/B testing already in real time.
In the journeys.
Oh.
But if you
Can you
think about
explain
back
this
to
one?
Outbound, so go ahead and explain it, and then.
Oh, this is A/B testing configuration at email level. So they'll
Yes.
Okay, got it. Sorry,
Catch
should have
up,
done my
yeah.
homework a bit better. So this is instead of doing A/B testing as to like, do I send an email or send a text? This is within the email itself. You can A/B test content. So they sometimes do like, oh, like this is hero image 1, this is hero image 2. We're going to A/B test and work out which one gets the most clicks. So I guess this would come alongside when you're doing your conditional content in your emails. I imagine it sits alongside that, and you start building out your A/B testing content in there as well.
Yeah,
that's exciting. It's a good catch up.
This is definitely a needed one in terms of the bringing stuff from Outbound into real time, because what I've had is a client that literally they were just wanting to test the initial subject and then the initial intro block of text to see which one was
you got to create
better.
2 emails.
Yeah, so we have to create two emails and then have a branched journey as opposed to having one journey, one email, but the A/B testing is done directly within the email itself. So I'm glad that this one is coming, but it is again a catch up. So
yeah.
So yeah, April for PP. Do we just like saying that?
Yes, I do.
So here's another one of those things that I'm like, hang on a second, you've already got that in there as a feature switch. Prevent duplicate emails to contacts that share an email address. So this is, like I said, there's a feature switch where you can basically say, I want to prevent an email address getting the same email. So it's not just that the contact record has to be unique, but it's that the email has to be unique. So what that would mean is, let's say you have a segment and you have 500 people, and in that segment you've got Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith, and they both share an email address because they're a bit archaic, but that means that only one of them would be able to get it if you have this turned on. So so in that scenario you might be like, oh, but I want them both to get it. But the better scenario in terms of it actually really helping you is your data's not so great and you've got 3 versions of John Smith and he's in the segment 3 times. You would only get the email once because you've got this prevention turned on.
Yeah.
So
my only criticism here is what I'm going to get is that they want to say whether it's on or off per journey, because sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. That's next, but this is good to have because it's something that was always on this was the only way outbound marketing ran. This was like no choice. They always deduplicated. There was no duplicates going out. Same email, no one gets another one. Whereas now it's always been off, which has thrown some people out. I've been caught out by it. And now we got the option to turn it on or off. And now people are going to be like, I want to do it per journey. Ow.
Well,
but maybe next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, maybe next year. Sort your data out.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good that it is there, but I think it's going to be, because it's an on or off, I think there's going to be some scenarios where, like you said, it's like, no, but this doesn't fit, but everything else does. So we'll see. And this is for segment-based journeys only. It is not triggered journeys.
Yes, so that's good. You have got a compromise somewhere.
Yeah.
Good. I like it.
All right, and moving on. There's loads of stuff in here, but again, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of this is like, that's already there. I feel like it's almost like somebody's just like end of year review and they're like, everything that I did this year, let me just put it in here for credit.
I did good. Again, it's another one. Welcome to the party. You're late. This is nice. I got a lot of customers asking me about this. This is sometimes as well, like if you're sending out an email blast to a lot of people, you might want to split the journey. And there's not so for example, we've got branches now where you say, oh, if they live in Australia, send them this branch. If they live in somewhere else, send them this branch. But there's not always data attributes to split. And this is basically giving you the option to split a segment using numbers. So percentages or numbers. and to send a percentage of people down one branch, a percentage of people down another, or a certain number, and be able to branch basically based on numbers of contacts or leads. Really, really cool. Again, a lot of customers I get that want to do it, they want to slow down the send out of the newsletter so it's not all getting smashed out to hundreds of thousands at once. To be fair, marketing does look after you to some extent with that kind of thing, but some people like doing it. Various reasons why you want to do it, but again, something we had in marketing as a split, and really good to see it come back.
Yep, I would agree. I don't really have much more to add of any value. Welcome to the party. All right. Okay, so here's the one. This is the one I'm pretty sure we have seen at least 3 times already, right? So reach customers quickly with 10 times increased throughput. So this is basically, you can send up to 20 million interactions per hour using batched journey segments. So, sorry, batched journey scenarios. What does that say?
Scenarios.
My eyes. I don't have my glasses on. So,
okay, I'll read for you.
So, what you just said in terms of like the app will take care of in terms of like those batch sends. So this is essentially it, and it says up to 20 million. Obviously, you'd need to be paying for that level of interactions, and yeah, this is for mass enterprise type customers where they've got that level that they're sending out millions of emails or millions of messages. So yeah, 10 times. Yeah, I actually I can't remember if it's exactly this, but I know there was something that was like 10 times or 300 million or whatever.
I dug into the archives to understand what's going on here, and the ones from last year, and we're talking about per month. So all the numbers were monthly. So what I see the difference here is that these are all per hour. So they're really cranking up their game of performing within small amounts of time. So actually, I got a bit more excited when I looked at that, because I was like that, because I saw the numbers and they were like, these are tiny compared to last one. I have to go through it like 5 times to work it out. And I was like, oh, it's hourly, which is something I have seen. Like there's something you want to send out like right now and you've got 100,000, it chokes and bombs out. It's like, but it's okay. You can do it in a month. You're like, a month isn't enough. So it's nice to see they're cranking it up to perform within smaller time bounds. So it got me a little bit more excited.
Thanks for looking through the archives, because I was too lazy to do that. I was just like, I'm sure this has come up before, but you're right, it is very similar, but it's assisting almost what came previously.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yes, the pictures help with this one. So if you get a chance, go and have a look at the picture. This is quite cool. So you obviously got some things going on already with the quiet time feature, which is saying don't ever send emails after 6 p.m. at night, and don't send them on weekends, and don't send on public holidays. Yeah. Australia Day, I'm going to throw in another international culture there for you. So this is another layer on top of that, which is at the journey level. So this is, you can say within a journey on a specific email to set up the allowed send times and don't send times. So this is really exciting, and it seemed very fine grained. Like it was like Monday between 2 p.m. and 2:30. Like it seemed very, very detailed, which is really exciting, really cool. The only thing I'd say to be careful about is time zones. So if you're marketing to multiple time zones, the time zone is one time zone. It looks like you choose at the top saying the time zone you want the rules to apply by. So you might have to start doing some funky cool branching based on country and different things. Could get a bit of mind blowing.
Yeah, wait but 3 hours, wait 5 hours, whatever. Yeah,
or based on the country, you get them a different time bounding and a different time zone, for example. Lots you can do, and again, with all the branching, no problem. We can do anything. We just can't do all of it. But it's exciting to see.
Yeah, I agree, because that, if like, even like, let's say you're doing like a contest, or you're like doing a launch of something that is going to be launched at a specific time, that you've got somebody going through a journey, and then it's like, okay, but don't send it, or only send it within this time frame. I think it's much needed. I like that we're seeing things sort of like added on top of each other, where like you said, you've got the quiet time and then you've got this. So this is public preview April and then GA July. So this is good. I like this one. Much needed. Okay, so understand and optimize journeys with customer flow analysis. So there's a very pretty picture. I'm not always convinced by pretty pictures though, because sometimes it's like sort of let's see how it is. But this is adding more information on the sort of traffic or the things that are flowing through your journey, being able to see like somebody that entered something, the exits. So at the minute we can see this many people started the journey, and then at a branch this many people branched off, this many people went through, got the email, whatever. But this is like adding quite a bit more information. So again, there's a picture. We'll have links to all of the different, so you can go directly to each of these items. It's got their own page on the documentation. So have a look at this one because it does look pretty cool. But yeah, you can basically view individual customers as well, which that to me is a massive new feature. So I'm happy about that one. So hopefully we will see that April, it says at the minute. Fingers crossed that doesn't change.
I think for this as well, it's bringing to light the exit things, because you can exit by trigger, you can exit by segment. There's a lot going on with the exits that it's often hidden away and people don't know it's there, or they forget that it's there. So I think this is going to really help visualize the exit strategies working as well.
Yeah, agreed. All right, and we have one more.
That's one. Oh, we should have ended on a more exciting one, shouldn't we?
Well,
this is already here, isn't it?
So go ahead and.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we already talking about it. Let's start with then. Qualify leads and route to sales when buying is likely. It's automated lead, maybe not qualifying a lead in the old school dynamic sense of turning it into an opportunity, but somehow marking it as sales ready is the more classic term. And what I like to see from this is that every company marks something as sales ready in a different way. It might be a status change. It might be a ticky box. It could be a million other things. But what I like about this, I love the word ticky box.
Are you fine?
Yeah, I call it that on everything. It's ticky box.
A ticky box. It's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, carry on.
Welcome. And I quite like here that you can customize what is your criteria for the qualification, and what do you do when it's qualified? How do you indicate qualified? Obviously, there's going to be limits to how complicated you can get. But I like that it's customizable and they've not tried to put everyone in the same box. So this automated marketing to sales handover is really, really cool and nice to see. I'm pretty sure there's a feature switch at the minute that allows you to turn it on in preview. Yes, okay. Gold star.
Yeah, so, and I do feel bad because I feel like I'm going to end on a negative, but I'll try and say it in a positive way. So I have issue with the phrase that we're using of qualifying leads, only because that we've had CRM, it goes back, I don't know how many years, and it's been, you have a lead, you qualify a lead, and it creates an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So
it's not that.
Exactly. And I saw a post on LinkedIn from somebody that was sharing this one specifically and talked about qualifying, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not really you're not qualifying the lead, you're changing the value on a field is essentially what it's doing. So just sort of, that feels like it should be explained a little bit more, rather than just saying, yeah, qualifying, you know, you're going to qualify your leads. You're not. It's not going to go off and just say, oh, qualify, new opportunity. So this does work in conjunction with the scoring models. Unfortunately, scoring models that were released, I think, in August last year and went to GA still have a lot of challenges. They turn themselves off. There's all sorts of issues with them still currently. Hopefully that will all be resolved very, very soon. But until that's the case, then this piece of it is not really valuable, because your scoring models aren't 100%.
So you need to have the lead score for this to do anything, right?
So it's based on, so you would say automatically set it to marketing qualified or sales ready when this scoring model score hits 100, or this one hits 60, or this one hits 40, or whatever. So it is tied in specifically with the scoring models. So until you can set up and
it also
successfully
says
use the
not.
scoring models.
It says not only scores, but also on other signals that indicate a prospect's likelihood to buy, such as their fit with your
Yeah, so
customer
it's an
profile.
additional, you've got like
Okay,
the
so it's
scores,
scores and stuff.
and then you've got other things that you can use as well. So it's just a, yes, it's going to be great, but it's not quite there yet. And it's just, to be fair, it does say GA April, so that we are in the time frame of being able to, like, you can turn it on and you can look at it. It's there in preview with a feature switch, but we've got a few months for it to be ironed out. So
I think it's important with this stuff as well to look at what you're using on the sales side as well, because there's a lot of crossover in what these tools do. They're called similar things, but they do different things, or they're called different things, they do similar things. So it is also important to have a wholesale view of what's going on with the sales functionality before you start rocking around with this.
Agreed. So I think to me, there's a ton of stuff in there, right? I think there's a few things that are a little bit like, okay, it's already there, so should it really be in the release notes? But I guess they've got to put it somewhere, right?
Yes. And there's much less lavish splashing of the word Copilot around, like, which I appreciate. Like, there's features and Copilots mentioned, but it's not like Copilot. So I'm glad to see some like balance has been restored on the Copilot mayhem. I'm glad to have him around, but I'm glad he's toned down his party a little bit. So
well, I think I know we didn't do the video last time, but obviously we both read through the release notes, and then the last one for Wave 2 2023, Copilot was everywhere. It was all over the place. So I agree with you. It feels, I don't know, I just feel calmer reading it, to where I'm like, okay, these are features. These are not salesy type, like, ooh, isn't this sexy and cool? It's like, these are things that we need that are valuable. So I appreciate this from Microsoft.
Meaty and functional.
Oh yes, that should be the catchphrase. We want meaty and functional.
Vegan options available.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully there's something for everybody. Please go ahead and leave comments. What do you think is going to be your favorite feature? What are you most excited about? I think for me, the branded links is going to be awesome. So yeah, I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
And a free sticker from Megan for the person that explains the developer console thing. Thanks.
Yes, please. I would like to know. I'd like to know more. Excellent. Well, this was fun. Should we do it again in 6 months?
I think I'll be ready by then. Yeah.
Me too. Maybe we'll even talk about data.
Oh, maybe.
We shall see. All right.
I'll
Thanks
see
for
you
the chat, Amey. We'll talk next time. Bye.